Hello everyone. Today we are talking to Braianom Eppstein, who is professional business and career coach and a mentor who works with Canadian professionals and internationally educated professionals to help them advance their career. Brian, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your services and what you do.
Sure. As you've already mentioned, thank you very much. I've done a lot of work with new Canadians as well as Canadians who've lived here all their lives. I've helped them before they've immigrated and after they've immigrated to Canada. I've supported them in searching for new roles, preparing them as best I can in terms of their resume, their cover letter, to make it according to Canadian style and Canadian format. I've coached them on interview skills. I've coached them in making sure that they are career ready for their next job that they're looking for in Canada. And that they're successful in finding work, securing work. And I've also done a lot of work helping businesses, business persons who are immigrating to Canada who need some support in establishing their businesses in Canada.
That's really very useful and helpful for someone who just recently moved. Do you often work with the recent immigrants?
Oh, for sure. I've worked with so many recent immigrants who've come from all over, from Eastern Europe, from Russia, Ukraine. I've worked from people who've come from other parts of the world. I've supported them in starting their businesses, establishing themselves, working in terms, as I've mentioned already, their resume and their cover letter, and helping them to build a network in Canada. Because often people will say to me, hey Brian, I don't have any network in Canada and I want to get established in Canada. So I will help them to establish their network in Canada.
What's the most important and the most crucial challenge for someone who just recently moved to Toronto in terms of their career development?
I think one of the biggest things is to be open-minded. When someone comes to Canada, they need to be open to new ideas and to realize that I'm in a new country and there's going to be new ideas and new ways of doing things. Just like if I was to go to another country, I would want to speak to people who are professionals in that country to find out what's the best way that I can help myself to look for work and to establish myself in my business in Canada. I want to speak to somebody who's lived in Canada all his life and can help the best way possible.
I see, that's really helpful. And for those who are just preparing to move, who are currently in their own countries but are getting ready to move to Canada, what would be your advice how to prepare before landing for the career?
Well, thankfully for the internet, we can do a lot of research before we even get on the airplane today. And before we get on the airplane, I would want to research the industry that I'm coming to, what's the demand for that industry, what are some companies that may be possibilities for me to work with. I would want to find out what's the demand in Canada, what kind of skill level do I have to have, do I need to take any other professional courses before I get here. If I am an engineer or an IT specialist or any kind of specialist, will my skills in my country before I come to Canada be accepted in Canada by the professional associations? So that's what I help people to navigate, to learn about the way to get my career started, for my clients to get their career started in Canada.
I see. To be honest, in Eastern Europe, in my opinion, career coaching is not that familiar thing for people. So tell us a little bit more how exactly it happens, how you can help, and if you accept someone who isn't currently in Canada, can you accept them as a trainee?
Okay, and I just to answer you that I've worked with people who have come from Eastern Europe before they have even got on the airplane, before they came to Canada. And I've helped them through LinkedIn, through Skype. We've had WhatsApp or other methods. We've kept in touch through telephone. I've supported them. The person has used my services before they came here because they wanted to get off the airplane ready to move as quickly as possible. And although they may have a resume before they came to Canada, their resume may not be at the Canadian standards. So I've helped that person as much as possible with their resume and cover letter. And as I've mentioned before, it can be a challenge to come to a new country. So my skills is not necessarily to find a job. I will help as much as I possible with the networking, but my skills is to make the person career ready. Because often a lot of people when they first come to Canada, oh, but I have so much experience. I've worked in my country all my life. I'm sure I'll be able to get a job right away. And they may have a lot of skills, they may have a lot of experience, but if they don't get the support of a coach who can work with him or her from the time before they leave their country until they get here, it will take them longer to get a job, and they will usually what I find, people will spend a lot more money if they had gotten a coach before they even got on the airplane, before they even came here. And then when they get here, if they have that coach, they can get moving very quickly, and they don't have to stop and spend a lot of money and waste time to try to find work. They can get the support that they need right away.
I see, thank you. And what do you think about the cultural differences, especially for Eastern European people and Canadian? How challenging the North American environment is for them?
I think actually a lot of Eastern Europeans fit in very nicely into the Canadian culture. I think when I've spoken to some of my clients, they always find some small differences and some things that take a little getting used to. But that's one of the things that I like to do when I'm with my clients. We discuss what are the challenges that you are facing, because what may happen to you may not be the same for another person. Some different experiences, certain ways people talk to each other may be a little bit different. But I think it's just that you have somebody. I've lived in Canada all my life. My grandparents come from Eastern Europe, so I understand Eastern European country from my grandparents. But having grown up in Canada, I understand the Canadian culture, and I know what will be accepted in terms of how people can treat each other, what's good manners in terms of the Canadian workplace. What might be great in an Eastern European country may not always work in Canada. And so I think as long as people, like I said at the very beginning, are open and willing to learn, and they're willing to accept different ideas, I think it's to their advantage. When people say, oh no, I know everything and I don't want to hear anyone else's ideas, I think they could be hurting themselves, and it could take them longer to find a job.
Sure. Thanks so much.
Thank
Brian.
you.
Me personally, I can recommend Brian as a wonderful coach, and he helped me a lot. I didn't want to change my job, but I wanted to apply for the business school. I needed my CV being prepared, and I wanted to learn more about the networking, volunteering possibilities, more educational things that I can get only here, and I didn't have experience with them in Kiev or in, somewhere else in Europe. And Brian helped me really a lot. So you will find all the links, all the additional information needed in the description of the video and in the blog post translated. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to again meet you
Okay.
and talk to you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.